Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Local Passport Family, getting to know some of our best friends from all around the world. I'm excited to introduce to you Rania and Dimitri, who are some of our best friends, and they are from Greece, which is the country we're learning about today.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll turn it over to you to share a little bit about where you're from and your beautiful country.
Great, thank you. Hi, I'm Rania Limpuridou, and this is my husband, Dimitri.
Hi, everybody. You want to go first?
Yeah.
It will be easier for me.
Sure. So the funny part is that I'm from Cyprus, which is an island where we speak Greek. I have to say, it's next to Greece. We have the same culture, same nationality, basically. It's just, it's treated as two separate countries, but it's more or less the same thing. So we can speak about that. Yeah, and we're here in the US.
So Greece is located in the southeast part of Europe.
Right.
And it's surrounded by sea. So sea has been always a very important factor in Greece's history, culture, everyday life. And many people consider it a very beautiful destination for vacation. And I think Greece is also considered one of the oldest nations in the world, and therefore has a very rich history. I think one of the most interesting aspects of the history is the mythology part, which is always the funniest part that when we are kids enjoy the most, right?
Yep. Everything about God.
Yeah, gods like Zeus, Aphrodite, or heroes like Hercules, Perseus, the Titans. So I don't know about you, but this is one of the things that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. What else?
You come from Athens?
Yeah.
Which is the capital, and it's a really nice place to visit. It has the Parthenon as a very big landmark.
Right.
And then from there, you can basically travel to all the islands and then to the rest of Greece, which has been really convenient for me whenever we go back. I take a flight to Cyprus from there, and also to, many other places and the islands.
Right. Cyprus is an island too.
Yeah.
It used to be part of Greece, but nowadays it's not.
Just an hour away.
Just an hour away, yeah.
By plane.
Yeah. So yeah, Athens is actually in the center of Greece, right? You could say that.
Yeah.
It's the biggest city, as Rania mentioned.
It has half of the population of Greece, which is interesting. It's very populated.
It's the density is very high.
Yeah.
I think it's a very fun city, right? You can enjoy the food.
Especially with a local. It's not so much fun when you don't know where to go, because you can get lost in different places. But once you get the insights from a local, it gets much more interesting.
Yeah.
The nightlife, the day time.
Let's focus on the educational aspect of this.
We love it. We will have to go with the locals.
It's true. For day or night, it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's. Okay, I think a very interesting fact about Greece is that although it's a very small country and a nation in general, I think ancient Greeks laid the foundation for almost all the sciences, right? Like medicine, geography, math, physics, chemistry. And it's not a coincidence that all the terminology in these sciences have a Greek origin. Astronomy, which is always a fun fact. The planets, most of the planets are named by the ancient Greeks.
The Greek gods,
The Greek gods and all this. So this is something I think that the modern Greeks take pride for that.
For sure, yeah.
I think the everyday life is kind of unique in a way that Greeks really like, to get together all the
Mhm.
time.
Very social.
Very social.
Extremely social, I would
Extremely
say.
social. Sometimes it's too much. They really like, to get together with spontaneous meetings. Um,
And gatherings.
and gatherings. Yeah, it's like they always try to find an opportunity to do that. Sometimes not for a very good reason, just to do it,
Have fun.
just to have fun for whatever reason, right?
I think that's amazing. Actually, on that note, I want to pause for a second. On being such a social and friendly people, one of my favorite moments was talking to you guys as you were preparing for your wedding in Greece. And I remember you using the word small
Yeah.
to describe your wedding. Do you mind sharing how many people were invited to your small Greek wedding?
Yeah. Let's start by saying when we're trying to find the venue, the first question we would get was, okay, how big is the wedding? And they have these how do we call it? Categories, right?
Very
So
yeah.
which category you fall? And we're like, we think somewhere between 200 and 300 people.
So on the low end.
On the low end. Oh, we're talking about the very small wedding then, And I think we got a couple of no's from venues because we were too small for them,
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, it was like, unfortunately, we do weddings only with 500 people as a minimum,
And above.
and above. So yeah, we didn't meet the criteria for that.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, and especially if the weddings in the countryside, outside of the big cities like Athens, I think the minimum there is, I don't know, 1,000.
It's on the thousands.
It's on the thousands. Yeah.
So you basically invite the whole,
You have to invite everybody.
the whole town, or the whole village, or a collection of villages.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, a bit crazy, but
Yeah. So you could say we're not that social
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
or we lost our contacts
yeah.
back
Yeah.
home.
So that was fun. That was fun for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think I don't know if you had anything else, but I think our little girl had a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
What kind of sports is most popular in Greece?
Oh, that's a great question. I think by far soccer is the most popular sport. And
I think right after is basketball.
right after is basketball,
Yeah.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure. And the fact that back in 2004, which for your parents and us feels so close, was the year that Greece won the European Championship. So that was a huge milestone for the soccer tradition in Greece.
Mhm. And we
Uh,
hosted the Olympics,
and we hosted the Olympics.
which started from Greece.
Oh yeah,
So another fun fact.
yeah,
So they went home after so many years. So
Right.
yeah, Athens was celebrating a lot, and Greece altogether.
yeah. And actually, Olympics were so important in ancient Greece that it was like an official way to pause the war between the city states, because back in ancient Greece, every city was a state, a separate state. So many times you could find Athens fighting Sparta, right? Or Sparta fighting an island. So there was always something going on, but everybody knew every 4 years they would have to pause all these I don't know, wars, adversaries, whatever, in order to perform the Olympics. And the athletes that won the Olympics were considering as persons very, very near to the gods. So important that they would give their names in places or landmarks. So yeah, Olympics was a crucial part of the history for sure.
And this is one of the reasons why, if you notice, it's unfortunate that this year, the Olympics are canceled, but next year when you're attending or observing them on TV, you would notice that Greece is the first country that begins the, you know, the whole celebration to honor that it started from there.
It's the founder, you know.
Yeah,
It's one of the
exactly.
founder.
Definitely deserve credit on that one. Yeah, you get to
Yeah.
be the line leader, as they said in elementary school, and that's a long procession. That's great. Did you have a question?
What's your favorite Greek food?
Greek food, right?
Ooh.
And
One.
maybe dessert too. I want to hear about dessert too.
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah.
your favorite Greek food is a dessert, which is probably, you know, the case for me.
We have to pick one.
We have to pick something healthy.
pick your top several. Yeah, we love to hear. We can talk about food for a long time. We're interested.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know about you, but I really love the the biftekia,
Oh, the
stuffed, not filled, stuffed.
stuffed.
With stuffed peppers or no?
It's a variety of meatballs.
Yeah.
A version of
A version, right?
It has more ingredients into it.
Yeah, it's more.
But it looks like that.
It takes more time to cook them compared to the regular meatballs, but they look very similar to meatballs, and they are stuffed with cheese.
So then it's, you know, once you take them out of the oven, you slice them, you kind of see
you can see the melted cheese,
melted
right?
cheese. So that's really tasty.
It's really tasty, yeah, for sure.
You also like the stuffed eggplants.
Oh yeah, the
Papoutsaya. It's kind of small shoes if you translate that word in English, and it's eggplants cut in half, and then you have like minced meat with some spices, and then creamy sauce on top, like a bechamel sauce. Yeah, that's one of his favorites.
and Aranya's favorite. Come on, you have to talk about souvlaki. There is no.
Yeah.
There is no other way to avoid it.
Street food is my favorite, so, and being here I miss it a lot. So yeah, it's like the Greek souvlaki that you know, on the stick. It's usually pork, pieces of pork on the grill, and then, you know, wrapped in a pita bread with some French fries and tomato and some other, you know, vegetables. So yeah, but we consider it as, you know, unhealthy food, but here it could be considered healthy. So I make that a lot. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's very nice, for sure.
And dessert.
Dessert, yeah, I forgot that.
Oh, I love ice cream. So
Ice cream, yeah.
chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is your favorite?
Ice cream is one of my favorites, but it's not considered Greek, you know.
Yeah, true.
Per se.
True.
I don't know. How about karidopita?
I was about to say that.
Can you describe karidopita?
It's walnut.
So it's a pie, for sure. Let's start with that.
It looks like bread or pie. It's like, but it has some a little bit of syrup. So in the looks, it's more like bread looking, with some walnuts inside and some spices, and then at the end they pour like a little bit of syrup, so it's kind of moist. It has moisture.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of sweet, but not too much. We don't like typically to have, like, you know, too sweet, you know.
Yeah, it's more to the neutral.
Yeah, unless you pour a lot of syrup and it becomes super sweet.
So it can become very sweet if you want to.
But that's a typical, typical Greek dessert.
And the basic ingredient, as you said, is the walnuts, right?
Yeah. Walnut pie.
Walnut pie.
It seems like walnuts are pretty common in Greek food.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And one final question that I have, I would love to, because I know there are a lot of amazing Greek islands. So I'd love to hear some of your favorites if you've traveled to the islands, if there are some that you recommend.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think our style, and this is something we've said many times. So Greece has it's like it has a mainland and then islands on the Ionian Sea on the eastern side, and it also has a few islands, not as many as on the east side, on the west side. And they differ a lot in terms of, you know, the beauty and what you can see.
The style.
Yeah, the style is different. So
if you go to the eastern part,
it's like Santorini, and then some of the famous ones where you see the white and blue type of islands. But then on the western side, because they get more rain, it's more like green looking islands with a lot of nature. And then you have mountains that are,
With
with
forests.
forests and green. And then you have the blue water, down. And then it's like a whole different scenery. And we agree that we like that more than the dry type of islands. And the water is also much cleaner, and
Yeah.
it's much more beautiful for our standards, for our likes.
So yeah, the east.
That it seems like those are probably much less touristy as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You got it right. So yeah, this is what I was about to say, that the islands in the east side of the country are by far the most popular, the most famous,
And more accessible.
more
think,
accessible,
from
and
Athens.
yeah, exactly. And that's why you have way more tourists. The islands on the west side of the country are more closer to our tastes, and you get this I don't know, undeveloped feeling that it's not, I don't know,
Pure nature.
pure.
basically.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
closer to the pure nature. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they have more awarded beaches on that side of the island,
All right.
on the country, than the other.
Yeah. I don't know if they do that in US. So in Europe, they do every year. They go and test the waters on every beach in order to determine how pure is the water,
How clear.
how clear, and all these kind of things. And usually Greece, along with Italy and Spain, are the champions of that testing. So
And they put a blue flag on the sand on the beach to indicate that this is an awarded beach,
yeah, that meets the criteria, and
it's one of the top in the world. So yeah, a lot of the western side gets a lot of those flags. So
yeah.
then the beaches are these kind of magic things that you see, even in the in the news with top awards.
Right.
Some of the islands are Corfu, Zakynthos.
Right.
Our
favorite, I would say, our favorite, I would say Lefkada.
Lefkada, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So there are 7 big islands on the west side. One of these 7 is Lefkada. It's in the middle of the sea, let's say, between north and south.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure you've seen photos of those beaches that we're talking about.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll have to go look those up.
We highly recommend that if you guys are planning to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'd love to.
So go all together.
Let's go together.
Yes, actually, please, yes.
I know. We went about, what was it, 5 years ago or 6 years ago? So we would love to go back with more kiddos. So maybe when everything with COVID has settled down.
Yeah. Let's do that after COVID is gone.
Well, thank you guys. This was so
Yeah.
fun to get to hear a little bit more about
Yeah.
Greece. Thank you for sharing your beautiful country and culture. And
Yeah.
You're very welcome. We're
It's
glad.
really magical and excited. I'm sure there are 1,000 other things to be proud of that'll pop into mind that you feel like sharing. So we can share those in writing too with anyone who's interested. So this is great. Thank you so much.
thank you guys so much. What do
You're
you
very
say?
welcome.
Thank you.
You.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.